Greetings, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Family, let's just start the broadcast with this. Somebody's in trouble. Let me tell y'all something. Somebody may be in trouble, and his name is Al Sharpton. He goes by Reverend Al Sharpton of MSNBC. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about what's going on here. Yes, watch this clip, family.
Over the weekend, President Donald Trump called for Vice President Kamala Harris to be prosecuted, falsely claiming yet again that Harris paid for endorsements from celebrities during her 2024 presidential campaign. In a rant posted on social media, Trump claimed that Beyonce received $11 million, that Oprah got $3 million, and that the Reverend Al Sharpton took home $600,000 to endorse the then vice president. Trump added that they, quote, broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Trump made similar claims about the vice president earlier this year and late last year. The Harris campaign has consistently denied paying for endorsements. Federal election records show that the Harris campaign did pay Beyonce's production company $165,000 in reimbursements, which is common with large event productions. Oprah has said she was not paid to appear alongside Harris at a live-streamed event in Michigan back in September 2024. Records show production fees of roughly $1 million were covered by the campaign, while Sharpton's National Action Network was paid $500,000 for Get Out the Vote initiatives. Last year, a spokesperson for the Harris campaign explained to Deadline that it was required by campaign finance laws to cover costs associating with holding such events. Joining us now, the president of the National Action Network and host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Rev, good to see you. We have a couple questions for you on this, but let's just start simply with the accusation that President Trump has leveled at you. Were you paid for an endorsement?
Well, absolutely not. And as the FEC filings say, they helped the campaign, gave funds for Get Out the Vote campaigns for National Action Network, of which I'm a part of, and other civil rights groups, some which got more than National Action Network did. National Action Network, nor I, even endorsed her. What is interesting about this, though, is that the fact that this is as you accurately reported, second or third time, lawyers for National Action Network was looking at, can we sue him for defamation? Because he had knowledge this time that there was no endorsement and that I didn't get any money. This went to the nonprofit that I'm connected to. But let's look at the larger picture here. Donald Trump is in very serious problems around this whole question of Epstein. So last week, he was trying to flood the zone to take any pressure off of him and try to put his MAGA base back together again. The fact is, he started by saying he's going to fire the Fed chief. That didn't work. Then he went on to something about tariffs. That didn't work. Then he decided to do what he started his political career on, start race baiting. Which was, he started with birtherism, that Obama wasn't born here. Then he went and released the files now last week of Martin Luther King Jr., some of which are very questionable, and the family was opposed to him doing it. That didn't work. The next day he goes after Barack Obama, saying he ought to be prosecuted. That didn't work. Then he tried something else. Then over the weekend, Kamala Harris, Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Al Sharpton. The race card, the thread here is race. And that's what he's trying to do. They're swapping money. They're doing things like Obama was holding back with Russia. It's all about trying to get past Epstein. We have shown in National Action Network and other groups what we did and didn't do in the campaign. Even when I spoke at the convention, I said we don't endorse candidates. We have come with our files. Release the Epstein files, Mr. Trump. Do what we did, or be quiet.
Yeah, you're certainly right. The four names in that post, the vice president, Oprah, Beyonce, yourself, very clear what they have in common. John Hyman, let's bring you in on this too. Just this idea, this seems to be, to Rev's point, Trump playing the greatest hits, falling back on some of his, lesser impulses, perhaps, playing with birtherism and the like, but also just shows there's still this frantic nature of trying to throw things against the wall to distract from an Epstein story that's simply not going away.
Right. It's the last part of that matters, Jonathan, I think, which is I understand why they're frantic, because he's thrown a lot of stuff against the wall and none of it has done what it normally has done for him, which is to move people along, get people distracted. And usually, the people who are very most easily distracted are those in his base. He's been able to count on that. You think about the range now of what the distractions have been. You've got on one hand, all due respect to Rev, but it's like on one hand, you're like, hey, those guys, Kamala Harris, who I beat, right, who's no longer a political threat to me whatsoever, who I beat in the election, fair and square, paid endorsers. Who cares? Right. On the other end of the scale, Barack Obama has committed treason and should, by according to the law, if you're guilty of treason, should be put to death. No one cares about that either, because it's kind of self-evident that all of these things are what we've just said. They're all distractions. And the one persistent reality is that the Jeffrey Epstein thing is not going away, because for the first time, Donald Trump is faced with a controversy where he is at odds with the people who have supported him, believed in him, trusted him the most. And they are looking at him going, wait a minute, you're full of crap. You're not making good on this promise, and we're starting to have some questions about it. And that's why it's not going away. I know you're going to talk about probably the Mike Johnson thing, but boy, 80% of the discussion over the weekend on broadcast and cable television was on Epstein, not on any of the rest of these matters.
Yeah, all his efforts to distract, including playing the race card, not working.
Okay, family, there you see Reverend Al Sharpton on MSNBC giving an explanation as to why it is that he technically wasn't paid, why he wasn't paid by Kamala Harris. Now, if you all know anything about this, Trump is bringing this up because he is trying to cover his behind, because he's in trouble with the trailer park beer belly brand of MAGA folk. They're really tripping on him. This Epstein stuff is taking over, and Trump deserves every bit of it. Yes, I don't even understand how his base could believe that Trump was really finna do something when Trump was a part of the system in the first place, because we knew that. So nobody in their right mind should have thought otherwise. But the fact that they pretended like they was for real tricked, and that great white hope in Donald Trump is really hopeless. They're doing all kinds of stuff to get everybody's attention off of him, and that's true. But nevertheless, the reality is this is also part of karma from the Al Sharptons and hopefully the other black-looking individuals that'll be held accountable too. And that is because they're the ones that disrespected us. They're the ones. I covered Reverend Al Sharpton some years, a couple of plus years ago, however long time ago, before the campaign or during it, somewhere in there, because he was upset that we was demanding reparations as a part of our vote. So he came out against that too. Don't forget, when Obama even was in office, Reverend Al Sharpton threw away the voices of some of the most progressive black voices, even voices that I don't even rock with like that. But even the Tavis Smileys of the world, the Dr. Cornel Wests of the world, he got into public spats with them because he got an open door in the White House. So when y'all look and see, well, how is Al Sharpton still on the weekend show for MSNBC? Where did this snitch, this man that was a rat, somebody put a rat in the chat, somebody put a mouse in the chat. How is it that this FBI rat and government agent, allegedly, and ostensibly based on belief and information, how is it that he's still thriving like this with these parties? And so when you see the back dealing that it appears that he was engaged in, and then you see his connections to corporate. Now, we who are in alternative media discussed this money he got from Kamala. We were the ones that was calling him out before the Kamala scandal and his uselessness among black folk. And that as well. We also called out Roland Martin's funny looking self and those hundreds of thousands of dollars that he got with the Kamala stuff. Now, we brought that up, number one, because they did not go out of their way to first mention that when they were doing interviews with her, or when they was either endorsing her or their groups were endorsing her, or there was some sort of connection or relationship with that. They did not of their own volition. Don't tell me, oh, I filed this in the little FCC or F whatever filings and stuff. No, you did not come out in your interview up front to say, hey, she gave me all this money, or she gave my group an organization. Right now, Al Sharpton is playing word games with this money. Now, if we look at a little bit of this headline here that was written by Sarah Fortinsky, which I don't really believe in all these, news outlets like that, but I'm just going over the basics here that this article talks about. It says Sharpton on Trump claimed he was paid to endorse Harris. Quote, absolutely not. Of course, you all heard him say that. The Reverend Al Sharpton early Monday pushed back on President Trump's claim that he was paid to endorse Kamala Harris's campaign in 2024, saying he neither received money from the campaign nor formally endorsed a Democratic ticket. Yes, he did endorse her. He playing word games. Now he's being technical with his organization and all this. But family, do you all think that he's a part of an organization that he controls where he doesn't get some kind of benefit from it? He's trying to distance himself for a reason. I believe in people getting paid for what they do. I believe as a Black media person that we ought to be getting more resources, not only from folk like you, but other groups and corporations. But because we don't toe the line and because we can't be controlled with the narrative that's anti-Black or work against our interests and for everybody else's, that's why they don't fool with us like that. So I believe we ought to get paid. But the reason why I'm making the distinction with Al Sharpton and others is because he is a shield. He is useless to us, and he's about the life of the establishment and not us. Do you all understand that? Keep that in mind. Now, I believe that some of what he's getting this attention, Trump is being devilish with this. Yes. I'm going to always tell y'all the truth about stuff like that. But at the same time, Al Sharpton was buddy-buddy with Trump for a long time. Al Sharpton is for the system of white supremacy by and through the Democrat Party. He plays these little word games and he does nothing substantive for us. He tries to keep us shut down and he's willing to sell his soul, which he has. And when I say soul, I mean like the movie Coming to America. Just let your soul, the hair. But I'm going to leave that alone. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this little travesty here. Talk black to me, somebody. It does not pay ultimately. Even when people think they're getting over, when they move past us like our words don't matter. I remember a clip that came out where one of our supporters years ago, because you all know I've been doing this for some years now. I've been on multiple platforms with multiple networks and all kind of stuff over the years. And one of the networks I was on, one of my supporters there apparently called into Al Sharpton's radio show and mentioned my name, and he played dumb like he didn't know who I was and stuff. There was a reason that people were bringing me up. It wasn't just about, oh, give Vicki a boost by saying you know who she is. No, it had to do with the principles that I espouse. And so the fact that folk like him continue to ignore us, you see how this working? They stifled our voices, silenced our voices, ignored our voices, mocked our voices. And now him and the Joy Reids, he and the Joy Reids and the other useless black looking bootlicks, they're getting what they ought to get. Can't wait to hear what you have to say about it below. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to check out my website at VickiPlanet.com. Join my email list there so that you're